Hello everybody, this is Bob. Today's video is about the fact that the no-fly zones in Chiang Mai have expanded and there's a bunch of places you can't film anymore. I'll tell you all about it. Several weeks ago, I started noticing my drone flying world was shrinking because of added no-fly zones. Before October 2017, flying drones in Thailand was unregulated and drones were largely ignored. Now large parts of Thailand are restricted airspace. On October 13, 2016, Rama IX, the King of Thailand, died. Rama IX was a beloved leader and ruled over Thailand for over 70 years. He was to be cremated slightly over a year later in a public crematorium at the Grand Palace in Bangkok. Shortly before the preparations for the cremation were in progress, Thailand officially grounded all drones, estimated to be close to 50,000 in number, pending registration. It appeared to me no registrations were processed until several months after the cremation. I suspect Thailand wanted to avoid the possibility some private individual might spoil the cremation by taking video of the cremation or getting in the way of the drones contracted to film the cremation. There was also speculation that enemies of Thailand might try to disrupt the ceremony. My girlfriend and I received the 158th drone registration issued in Thailand. At that time, my condo, my neighborhood, and a large part of Chiang Mai were not in the Chiang Mai no-fly zone, although I'm only 1,500 feet outside the international airport and departure lanes. No problems were had. After several drone no-fly zone software updates, I found my condo room and the entire area around it are now classified as no-fly zones, although they were not no-fly zones before sometime this year. While some blame DJI for this, many people are unaware the U.S. government exerted significant pressure on DJI to produce software and firmware that allowed tracking of every flight one took with a drone in minute detail and with GPS coordination. DJI complied to preserve the lucrative drone market in the West, of which they had a 70% market share. Similar pressures were put on Huawei, but Huawei resisted. But that's just the politics of the situation. What I want to talk about is how this affects you and me. Although I knew my no-fly zone had gotten larger, I didn't really know how much larger. I spent several days researching this. I didn't want to do a video that was just me whining about regulations I have to follow. I wanted something useful for persons considering going through the Thai drone registration ordeal and no-fly zones adherence to get drone footage while in Thailand and give those persons a look at what they will be dealing with. I will leave a link in the video description to the video I did on getting registered with Thailand and just address the impact of growing no-fly zones, particularly in Chiang Mai. This is the current no-fly zone in Chiang Mai as of late November 2019. The entire old city, a tourist destination for 10 million tourists a year, is now a no-fly zone. A large number of markets, temples, and attractions have become no-fly zones. Your drone will not fly here, and the software will not allow you to enter the flying screen if you are in a no-fly zone. You are locked down. The red dots are places I have flown my drone over the past 3 years before they became off-limits. I'm switching to an AirMap screen now. AirMap is a free app that supplies more detailed information than DJI's map. It also has the phone numbers of local airports if you want to apply for an exemption, and offer an automatic application process for exclusion also. AirMap shows a larger area that is flyable, but lists the no-fly zones within the expanded controlled airspace circle. In the top right of the screen, you can see there are additional 165 exclusionary areas including schools, hospitals, military sites, airports, and prisons. By pressing the drop-down menu on the advisories bar, the specific prohibited areas are listed and extreme care is advised for those flying in those areas. I flew in the extended controlled airspace yesterday to confirm one can fly there as long as one's outside the no-fly zone. No problem was encountered. I should mention there is a significant amount of ambiguity in some of the rules. For the purposes of this video, we can define ambiguity as the quality of being open to more than one interpretation, inexactness, vagueness. Although Thailand says temples are restricted airspace, with permission from the temple one may fly. I actually let a Buddhist monk fly my drone at his temple in Mae Rim. He's flying my drone in this clip. It would be unlikely a Thai enforcement agent would argue with a monk or attempt to overturn a monk's permission to fly. Thailand says national parks are off limits, but Doi Inthanon isn't marked as a restricted airspace. Also worth noting is Thailand has banned all big bikes from the Thai National Park, but the current legal definition of a big bike is also an ambiguous situation, and the Doi Suthep National Park just west of Chiang Mai makes no effort to exclude big bikes from the park, while other parks, including some waterfall parks, do exclude big bikes. This is not just an issue in Chiang Mai. Bangkok has made most of the downtown area a no-fly zone, and the city has 964 additional regulated areas within the area shown in this air map screen. By the way, one can go to the air map website and scout locations before you arrive. I had planned to fly at this lake and temple complex in Mae Hong Son, but most of Mae Hong Son, a village of 6,000 people, is a no-fly zone because the airport exclusion zone. Pai, a city of only 2,500 people, is also impacted. Now, a few words about registering your drone in Thailand. I strongly suggest you go to the CAAT website for the latest procedures. I registered in October of 2017 and processing took 4 months. I am advised the process time has become faster, and I even had one commenter on how to register your drone video say he had gone to the CAAT office at his entry airport and had been processed on the spot. I suggest this approach may cause problems, as the rules say you should be registered before entering Thailand. Since I registered, it has become necessary to register with NBTC, the agency that regulates radio frequency transmissions in Thailand. When I registered 2 years ago, CAAT advised NBTC of my operating frequencies, but that procedure has changed. It is my understanding it is necessary to register with NBTC in person at this time. During our registration process, there was a mandatory police background check that took most of the time in processing, but it is possible that this is currently waived. Drone insurance is required to get your license. Check with the authorities on any important issue. Things change. When dealing with officials, be on your best behavior. Being condescending, angry, agitated, or insulting will not speed your registration. It is quite likely to delay it. Never say, "In my country we can get registered in 1 day," or something like that. You're dealing with Thailand and playing by their rules on their playing field, and I can assure you they don't care what the drone rules are wherever you came from. Be cool. In closing, I want to provide some opinions about enforcement. In 25,000 miles of travel in Thailand over a 4-year period, I have never been asked for my registration documents, although a lot of my travels are in remote areas of northwest Thailand. I have also flown in Bangkok, on Hong Island, Krabi, and Anong. The places drone owners seem to have the most problems are Bangkok Airport, where all the custom agents are trained, and the Thai islands that are national parks, like James Bond Island, for instance. The islands that charge admission may ask to look in your camera bag, and the park rangers at James Bond Island did search my camera bag before we were allowed to leave the check-in table. The most trouble at the island involves people who try to sneak and fly. Many drone problems start if a local complains about you flying over their property, for which you need their permission, or for disrespecting a Buddha statue or shrine. Getting permission to fly over private property is the Thai law, although some pantomime skills can often overcome language barriers. Now here's a couple of things to think about in closing. When you write something on the internet, Thailand uses social media a lot to detect crime. So don't put your life story, don't tell when you're coming or where you're hiding your drone if you're doing that. I just saw a post from a guy several days ago that all but made a police case for having the police waiting for him at the airport. I'm not saying it's that tense. I'm saying think about what you're doing. Don't talk about smuggling your drone on the airplane. Stewardesses, you may think of them as waitresses, but they're trained as air safety officers, and if they hear you talking about illegal drones, there's a chance you're going to be searched in customs. So once again, be smart. It's not that tense unless you make it tense. One last thing, some of these new no-fly zones may be the result of someone who did something stupid, like flying at night over a crowded Taipei gate during a festival, which I witnessed, or something like that got reported after they left, and there was something changed in the no-fly zone set off because of that person who thought they got away with it. But fly smart, don't come to Thailand to get in trouble, and you'll have a good time.